Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I'm playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. 716 make them pay with some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and Hit. Talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast. Bam! There we go, right there. Let's switch this around there. Bam, like that. That way we facing each other. Look, we doing this show a little bit different now. Until we can get somebody in here working the cameras full time. I can't think straight when I'm doing it, so I found a workaround. But this is the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host, Aramis.
They can see all my faces?
yeah. They can see every last one of them joints.
All right, y'all can hear me, right? As long as y'all can hear me, we're good to go.
Yep. I hear you in my headphones, so if you're coming across, let us know. Can you hear Keys all right? Does he sound good? 3P podcast, love it. Zoomer says CPT. It is what it is.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. What happens is when your son says, "Daddy, watch me drop this man from up here to the ground and breaking a million pieces," you watch your son drop that man from a million pieces from up Skyview, and then so it's
okay, all right, fair enough.
You better watch that man, because one day he's going to change your diapers. So they said your audio is low.
So that means I'm gonna have to turn you up in the system there. Give me 1 second.
Turn me up in my headphones.
Let me see if I can turn my camera off real quick. Bam. Okay. Can I? Yeah, I can come back. All right. Give me 1 second.
Can I kick it? Yes, you can. I would talk to y'all, but you can't hear me anyway. So, can you hear me now? Is it better? Oh, wait. Now I can hear myself. I can hear myself now.
You sound low?
I can hear the left. It sounds a lot better. I couldn't hear it all before. Now I can hear myself some. How do you guys feel? Chat, you can hear me now? Sound better? Yep. Billy D, thumbs up. Cool. I'm going to say, I can't hear myself. I'm scared.
All right. Now that we got that settled, we can really rock. Because I mean, again, for me, it was like trying to remember when to flip the cameras and all that. I forgot half the stuff I wanted to say. Huh?
I'm doing this here.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, look, I'm gonna start off by saying this. I am fully prepared for all of the criticism on my takes today. I am fully prepared for every angle to this conversation that I want to have anyway, right? Because to me, yesterday feels like a result of Sean doing what he thinks is right versus what wins in the NFL, right? And that is sticking to this
stuff now.
Right? Yeah, you see everything now. This is great. He's sticking. What up, Laura? He's sticking to this MO of, I wanna play complimentary football. We've already talked about what that means, but the other angle of this is I also wanna play a certain style of football that doesn't take too many chances, right? And it's almost as if, and this is why I titled the episode the way I did. It's almost as if regular season games are designed for culture building, right? This is how we win games. We stay patient. We don't overreact whenever things don't go right on the field on third downs. We don't try too hard, and take unnecessary chances. We don't, you know what I mean? Like just kind of trying to develop this aura of, we're going to trust the process. That's what the offense felt like to me. That's what the defense felt like to me last night. They didn't take a bunch of chances blitzing when they should have. They threw a few in here and there. Still didn't see a ton of, different movement from the defensive linemen. That was kind of to be expected in a sense, but on some long, some third and longs, I still wanted to see some of that. But what was your gut reaction to what you saw yesterday? Because I like knowing you, like you're a defensive guy anyway, and the low scoring or the close game, like you have no issue with that whatsoever. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say I completely see the opposite here. Now,
there it is.
Yeah, Okay, so we're playing against the Dolphins on what was that Thursday night, where we threw the ball an alarming 73% completion percentage for 213 yards. Yeah, y'all must have figured out who y'all quarterback was, because if that game was ever in doubt, he would have turned it on. He didn't have a look in his eye on that sideline that said, "I'm concerned." There was nothing in the way they changed the way they played yesterday that said, "Uh-oh, we should be scared." We won by 10 points. It was the most.
Saying you quiet again. What's? Keep going.
It was the most boring game I've seen since that 6-3 game I was at against Cleveland. So I struggle to see where the negativity or the fear was. If you're in the Discord, you guys heard me all day. I said, we're not going to lose. We're not going to lose. I don't know what y'all worry about. Relax. We got this. There was nothing in yesterday's game. Tyreek Hill, Waddle, A-Chain especially, Tua, no. Nothing. Now, what I didn't understand was the fact that the Bills set the tone. They were the blueprint, 2 years ago? Where they established the fact to beat Tua, you have to press. But instead, yesterday they decided to run zone 80%. 80% of the game they ran zone yesterday. That's complete opposite of what they decided to do when they weren't sure how to beat the Dolphins. So yesterday I sat back and I said, you know what? I'm cool. If you really think about it, I know people who are Josh Allen fans. I know that. But yesterday he was kind of the second banana. So had we been in doubt, had we been at the point where we had to really turn this on, Josh was taking over. That cape, that locker, it never came out of the locker room. That little, no break glass in case of emergency. Didn't see it. I get where people said, the Siler punt penalty was a changer. Was it? Would the Dolphins have gone 98 yards? Also, they had the ball at 10 minutes and 6 seconds from the 2.
Okay.
Josh Allen sitting there like, go ahead, do what you're going to do. Like my rock. And you know how I feel about this whole thing. I'm not going to just go ahead and pile on. But yesterday I was like, there was nothing. I was like, I'm at work and I'm like, nothing to worry about. Maybe it's different in the stadium. But I just didn't see it.
So there's a level of patience that I have with that aspect of it, right? Because I didn't ever feel in my heart of hearts that we were going to lose that game,
right? But
it did start to creep up in the fourth quarter when it was it was still a pretty close game at that point, where it was like, we better not win this game. Like, we better not lose this game. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it would be the buildiest thing ever to go 2-0 and then have a hiccup on Thursday Night Football, yet another national game where we get tripped up in a trap game against the Dolphins, right?
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to the approach, it's I guess it's just kind of frustrating because you see a team like the Patriots win, the convincingly, towards the end of that game, they make their adjustments and they start to beat up on the Dolphins. The Colts, they crush the Dolphins. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, why is Daniel Jones performing better against this team than my quarterback? And I get from the standpoint of you don't need to, but I think that's kind of I'll put it like this. I would prefer if my team was always in or was always used to just being in full-on attack mode as opposed to having the gun in their back pocket, feeling like, I could just pull this out whenever I need to.
And that's the thing. I think I went to the game knowing that's how they play. Last year the Chiefs went 15-2.
Mm-hmm.
How many games they win more than 7 points? The Bills are like, I like that. Do that again. They don't go into games and try to crush people. Mm-hmm. They never do. And I've established the fact that I know they're not going to, so I don't expect them to. I know what you're saying. You say Daniel Jones was killing these guys and whoever else was beating these guys, but I just never saw the Bills going into that game to destroy somebody. And I think that's why I'm not worried about this season. I'm not saying they're going to go undefeated, but I don't think the way the defense played yesterday, they didn't. How can I say this? I don't want to say they didn't throw up on themselves. I'll say, because that's what I was going to say. I was trying to be cleaner than that, but they didn't do that, and they could have. We had Trey White, who was a shell of himself. You have Christian Benford, who we got playing man for whatever reason, and we only gave 146 yards in the air. One pass past 10 yards for the Dolphins.
Right.
And I think, was that the pass that shouldn't have been a pass? The Tyreek play?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that can be cleaned up. When I look at that game, everybody's like, this guy sucks, that guy sucks. What is he doing? What did I show you yesterday in that clip when I sent from, what was it, Tampa Bay?
Yeah.
It's creativity. It's exotic. We don't have any of that.
Right.
If you show pressure from the A gap, you send different guys from different areas, you line up people in different places, guess what? Now you look different. Now you don't have to have elite across the board. But McDermott doesn't seem to understand what complementary football really is. Because if you look at how he built his defense, they're not complementary. You got small linebackers, you got 2 D tackles, 3 out of 5 D tackles are undersized, and who's eating up double blocks? You got Deion Walker yesterday, who should not have been out there in any goal line sequence.
No.
At all. And I don't know if you knew this or not, but who was the number 1 defensive tackle in terms of snaps yesterday?
Daquan Jones?
Who's number 2?
Oh, God. What's his name?
Mm-hmm. That guy. Zion Logue.
Yeah.
Zion Logue had 13% more snaps than Deion Walker.
Against that team, though? Why?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Okay. So I guess this was kind of, and this explains a lot because I really haven't had a chance to go back and watch the game yet. But my concern was no pressure up the middle. I said in the pregame show with Tommy yesterday, that's one of the things that they usually get on Tua, and that's why they're able to shut him down the way that they usually do, right? Is getting him off his spot. And now Bosa played a much bigger part than anybody else in getting him off his spot. But in terms of pressure up the middle, if it wasn't Daquan Jones or if it wasn't TJ Sanders occasionally, it just wasn't happening.
Well, yesterday, TJ Sanders was another no-show. It was Deion Walker.
Maybe I was confusing the two.
Yeah, the one that actually did stuff was Deion Walker. The one that didn't was TJ Sanders. Because
okay.
I mean, there's now talk that when Ogunjobi comes back, TJ Sanders might not get a jersey.
What? Based off of what? He was pretty good in week 1.
I didn't think it was ever good. I never did. Yeah, I think he's out of place. He's lost in run support. He's not getting to the quarterback. He's not getting any hits. So what good are you? At this point in time, you have to go back to the factory. We traded up 14 slots for this guy, and you're kind of a non-factor behind the 4th round draft pick. If we're gonna do this thing, and people are gonna crap on our defensive line all day, at least know the stats. Everybody's raving about Joey Bosa. Not yesterday maybe, but they said, where was Epinesa? Where was Russo yesterday? I can tell you where. Remember 2 weeks ago when you were talking about, not you, but you're talking about Bosa's in the backfield all times with 6 pressures in this, that, and third? Guess who had 6 pressures yesterday? Russo. Guess who had the most hurries yesterday? Russo. Epinesa and Bosa had the same amount of pressures, which was 3. So which is it? Are we happy about Bosa in week 2, Or are we going to crap on Russo in week 3? Do we not know what our eyes are showing us? I'm not saying it's great. I'm not saying it's good. But what I'm saying is it's equal. It's the same. You know, if you look at Russo, they're saying he's where was he last year? Last year was a contract year. He took his money and dashed. Guess where he was last year? I did the numbers here. Russo, last year, he had how many sacks in the first 3 weeks?
3.
He has half a sack this year. You know what he did last year where he got those sacks? He got those sacks in week 1 versus Arizona. What did he do in week 2 and week 3? Nothing. This year, he has the same amount of pressures up into week 3. He has less hits, so I'll give you that. 2 bat downs. He's affecting the play just as much as he was last year. But it's the fact that he had those 3 sacks. He rode that until he got another one in week 4. So it looks different, and we don't know what they're asked to do. Another thing that we didn't see yesterday was 91. Now, a lot of people are now saying, is Ed Oliver actually that good? Is Ed Oliver really that good? I can tell you, yeah, Ed Oliver is good. And Ed Oliver is your cornerstone of that defensive line. So, you know, when people jump on people, when people decide that they're going to crusade against somebody or for somebody, at least know what's going on. Yeah, Billy D said TJ had 1 play in game 1. He did. I mean, his hand movement, his you know, he looks like he knows what he's doing. But he's got work to do. They got work to do. They're underdeveloped. Zion Logue definitely should not lose his jersey when Ogunjobi comes back. Ogunjobi, for whatever he is not what Zion Logue is. And Zion Logue is always on the field when Daquan Jones isn't, and there's a play to be made. You know, that's the thing about it. That was a beautiful hit by right, Billy D. They don't know chocolate ice cream.
Chocolate ice cream.
Chocolate ice cream. But no. Oh, yeah, you didn't do this thing here.
Oh, yeah. I didn't do this other thing either. Hold on. Bow. Okay.
All right. Yeah, no. So,
Sheesh.
I mean.
All right.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I look at the game yesterday, I see why people were nervous because, like you said, why did Daniel Jones do that? Why did who's the Patriots quarterback? Drake May.
Yeah.
Why did Drake May have a field day? It just was their game plan. They're not as good as us. They didn't have the arrogance we had to know when they come to our stadium in that environment, we're gonna win this game.
Mm.
You know, I mean, if you look at yesterday, Tua actually held the ball longer than Josh Allen.
Yeah.
When has that ever happened? I don't know if you saw when Tua took Cam Lewis's ankle. Did you see that? Cam Lewis was blurry past him on the screen. He was like,
"No, I didn't see that."
Yeah, Tua, when he fumbled the ball, he ran. All I know is, you see, audio is bad.
I'm gonna just have to switch this over.
Okay.
I have to switch this back to the way we had it, but that means that I gotta disconnect a few cords first.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna have to go back to switch. All right, give me 1 second. I don't want this to suffer. Hold on. I apologize.
I'll still talk if y'all can hear me. But yeah, no. When I was watching that game yesterday, I said Cook is coming of age. Cook is doing his thing. I said we got guys that kind of echo feedback in it or echo chamber. Okay. So yeah, I mean, am I off basis? Am I wrong? I mean, you guys saw. I am talking to the microphone. I am. I promise. This isn't show 2. Show 2, you're right. How? Okay. Okay.
But ask them if they can hear you.
Can y'all hear me now or no? Yes or no? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Okay. 1 second.
Okay. So you can still hear me. Just really low. He's working on the chord, so I wouldn't worry too much about it as we stand. If you can hear something, I'll talk louder. I'll even scream for you guys. How about that? Steve Lynn, if you guys can see this, they're coming in with a weaker roster and a very scared to lose defense. An offensive scheme hoping your Hall of Fame quarterback saves you is not only low probability, but a crime against a loyal fan base. Okay. Yes. In theory, it is true. It's a crime against a loyal fan base, but we're not coming to see just one guy. We're coming to see multiple guys. And I know what you're saying.
But okay. No. Yes. I don't know.
Okay. Can they hear you?
I can't hear me again.
You can't hear you again.
I can't hear me. I can hear you though.
Okay. Let me see. So your microphone not plugged in. So we have to. 2 seconds, please. 2 seconds. What is this going to? Oh, this is it right here. This is it? Yeah. This is it right here. So
You can watch me. Okay.
right. Okay. Plug that into your mic. Unplug that other cord. Toss that on the. These clips up here gotta come up.
Hello. Yes. Jesus, Mary and JoJo.
All right. Well, I tried.
Yeah, I got you. Yep. What about now? Is it still repeating?
It's probably back to perfect now.
Okay, I'll just continue to go deaf then. So yeah, the team. I mean, you're watching the team go through what it has to go through in order to do something. Now, my reservations are not as much as they used to be when you look at what does this mean for next week? What does this mean for the week after that? Because we've already seen this team when they play good talent, when they play bad talent, they play with the talent, and that's it. They don't play to destroy anybody. They don't play to demoralize anybody. You know, McDermott's probably there's no stats I can tell you right now. Too much bass. That's me. I'm sorry.
Maybe pull back from the mic, maybe.
Did you crank me up louder though? Because it's in my headphones, really loud.
And get a sound technician. I am the sound technician. Actually, I am the guy that pretty much put this whole system together. Aside from the inside the computer stuff that my guy Rich came and took care of to make sure that my system is working the way I want it to. But listen, if anybody wants to join the team and help out, I would greatly appreciate it because it's a 2-man show right now. And
is this something that can be done remote, or you have to be here to do it?
As far as like controlling cameras and stuff,
yeah.
You know what? I'm not sure. From because the software you can download anywhere, and I could probably set up a VPN to make sure that whoever it was, if they were out of state, they had access.
Yeah.
I should probably put it on me.
They'll make it. Well, no, that'll make a big difference. I mean, at this point in time, we're just doing content.
I'd be willing to try and devote some resources that way if somebody was out of state. But
FH said DM him.
Huh?
FH said DM him.
So we use Blackmagic ATEM Mini Pro. That's what we use, and then we got the ATEM software control on the computer here, and I'm just switching it back and forth on the software. The actual ATEM is in this recording room right behind me, the booth.
Yeah, to Steve's point, he said, I want to come see other guys, but who's there other than J.A. and Cook? Can't rush bus group, can't cover man to man, overrated Benford, can't separate Coleman, can't stay healthy Milano. I got a whole bunch of stats here. Okay, so let me just give you a couple of stats here for the separation of aficionados. Okay.
The separation of aficionados.
Now, I'm glad he said, because I don't have to look this up, because I actually was going to bring it up later, but I'm just going to do it now. Receiving yards for separation in yesterday's game. Khalil Shakir, 6 yards of separation.
Mm-hmm.
Elijah Moore, 5.4 yards of separation, averaged. Tyrone Shavers, 4.4 yards of separation. Dalton Kincaid, 4.1 yards of separation. Keon Coleman, 3.3, up from 2 last year. Josh Palmer, still not over 3 yards of separation. So the guy they brought in to separate is the worst one we have on the team. So could it get better? Sure. But yesterday was definitely definitely a vanilla scheme. It was a short week and they didn't prepare well. You know how Josh said we got stuff in the bag. Well, when you gonna unzip the bag? When you get the lock for the bag? When you get the key for the bag? Because you won yesterday. You put up 31 points without trying. That's all we saw. You didn't try. You put up 31 points.
You don't think they tried?
No, I don't think so.
See, okay.
And that's where I can't argue with you because I don't think that they tried.
We technically can't debate that point because
Right.
neither one of
We
them
don't
know
know.
if they tried or not. Again, this team is scoring 30 points against bad teams with ease, right? Which if that's just an after effect of having Josh Allen on your team and how he can distribute the ball, cool. But I think and this may be the problem. Because the problem is never the problem. It's how you deal with the problem. I always tell, anybody that, if I'm coaching or I'm, teaching my children, it's how you perceive and how you react to the problem that is usually the issue. Right. And maybe my problem here is I'm looking at these games against easy teams with the mindset of this should just be refinement for what you need to do against the better teams. Right? Because I don't think there's anybody watching this Miami game that thinks anything that we did yesterday would work against the Eagles or the Chiefs or the Ravens. Maybe a few plays here and there, but keeping a 1-score lead most of the game and depending on a fourth quarter turnover to seal the deal with 3 minutes left in the game, you can't count it. You can't count on that. That's not scalable against the better teams in the NFL. So
yeah, I mean, to that point, I think that's what I was getting at when I said, Josh Allen 22 or 28 for 213 yards. That wouldn't happen against a good team. That wouldn't happen. Josh is there. People talk about Josh needs to, you got to do this, you got to do that. But at the same time, we know Josh is calling plays too. He's audible and out of stuff. He's doing what he wants. So he likes what he sees.
Right.
He's like, I'm not worried. So in my mind, when I'm watching, I'm like, he ain't worried. Why am I worried? That's our guy, right? That's the guy that we know when needs to, he'll put the game on his back.
A Jesus reference.
See, all things are possible through Josh. But yeah, I mean, you got 4 back there, you got 17. If those two aren't taking over, then I'm really not worried because they're sitting there like, Cook played what 76% of this. He played. Yeah, wasn't it about 70% of the game yesterday?
Who, Josh?
No, Cook. And
yeah, it was.
He played a lot.
Probably 80%.
Yeah, he played a lot yesterday.
I feel like it was a lot in the game actually.
A whole lot. And the thing was, they didn't stress them. They didn't pull out all the stops. The first week I said,
you talking about the Dolphins or you talking about
Bills?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they didn't pull out all the stops. We saw what they did against when they get up against the Ravens. We saw that, and they went toe to toe. Now the effort you saw yesterday and the effort you saw against the Jets was indicative of a 4-day preparation phase.
Okay, so wait, so this would have to be the question then that I think helps us get closer to understanding what we should be seeing, right? If what we saw against the Ravens is them stepping on the gas, what were they doing the first 3 quarters?
Against Ravens?
Yeah.
Getting worked over. No, when against the Ravens, the first 3 quarters, that to me was a clash of the Titans. So I really didn't glean too much of it. If we'd have lost that game, I wouldn't have cried. Because that's the game I'm like, if we're gonna lose, that's the game we're gonna lose. Sorry, Dorothy. But if we did that against the Jets, I'd been worried. If we did that against the Dolphins, I'd be worried. But for me, yesterday was not an effort game like the Ravens game. The Ravens said, "You give us your effort, and we're gonna match it." It was to me, it was a toe-to-toe thing.
Okay, so let me ask you this: Do you feel? You know what? I don't. You know what? For the sake of time, I don't think we need to go that far into.
Ask it.
Well, I guess the point that the question I was going to ask was, did you notice any similarities between this Dolphins game and the Ravens game in the first 3 quarters? Because to me, it seemed like the Dolphins were able to run the ball, effectively. They were, some of the screen plays were going off, without a hitch. there were more plays for the Dolphins that that were negative plays caused by the Bills. You know what I'm saying? But it just seemed like more times than not, the Dolphins were getting the yardage they wanted to get. Third downs in particular, the Bills weren't really great on third down in this game. And in the Ravens game, it was like the Ravens could do whatever they wanted. And I guess the relation would be, between the Ravens game and this Dolphins game, you got two teams that have, a physical running back that they can throw at us and enough speed to get around the edge of us, or to catch passes on that our corners can't cover. And those are the kind of things that I'm looking at, like the really fine technical stuff that leads me to believe, like, yo, you couldn't cover Zay Flowers, a speedy receiver. You couldn't stop Lamar from getting around the edge. You couldn't stop Henry from running up your gut. You in this game, Ollie Gordon was getting what he wanted pretty much every time he took the rock. Tua was running away from your defense and throwing a jump ball to a Tyreek Hill. The couple of third downs where you needed it really bad to get the ball back and go up by 2 scores, you couldn't stop Jalen Waddle on the third down twice. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm looking at those particular aspects of it and saying, like, man, when the Dolphins really wanted to get it, they got it.
What I didn't understand about yesterday's game was them going zone. I didn't understand that. Your man, your press is gonna knock Tua off his mark. But I feel like they were too afraid of the speed. They knew their safeties are slow. They know that their safeties are young. They know their cornerback is old. And this one over here, he's a cornerback 1, but he's a zone cornerback 1 that can't press. You saw what happened on those little short outs.
Yeah.
Benford was grasping at air because, I mean, let's face it, he just can't play man.
He can't.
And so I think McDermott, knowing the team that he built, knew that everything has to be in front of me, because like I said, last show, Bishop cannot play with the ball over his head. We have to make sure everything stays in front of those guys. So by doing that, you had to play cover 3, you got to play cover 4. They got to back off, play soft zones. Indicative of the fact everybody said that Christian Benford got destroyed. Why did they pick on Benford? Because Trey White was playing with no separation. He was sticky. Benford was the one with all the separation in front. It was a lot of space around with him and Hill or Waddle or whoever he was watching. So if you're talking about liabilities, that's why, to me, they were afraid of the speed that they were going to receive and be on display against the Dolphins. So I think in the game plan, they didn't play their game. They didn't say we're gonna knock them out and be physical. They said we don't want them to beat us by doing this thing. So Tua said, you know what, my first read ain't there. It's not what I like, so I'm just gonna take off. And they know that we don't have a pass rush or anything that's a threat to get to him. So they said we'll get 3, 4, 5 yards on the cloud of dust, that they call it, with Tua, and be happy. So I think.
So what do you think the difference is between this game this year and, I mean, we could even go back to games last year. I think the first game that we played the Dolphins, we were very dominant against them. I don't remember what the score was, but we've had some games against the Dolphins where they've had to come back late, and they've had a late surge that kind of put some fear in us because we kind of took our foot off the pedal, right? But what would you say is the difference between those games where, we're executing, we're throwing the ball all over the yard, we're scoring, 40 points on them, whatever the case may be, beating them by double digits, and this game where it just seemed like, we're going to be methodical. We're going to stay patient. We're going to play our game. And let's include this because it matters, because Josh mentioned in the press conference that, they were trying to do some things to cause turnovers. And the one thing that they focused on was not giving the Dolphins a turnover. So I get it from that standpoint, but I think between last year and this year, we've seen Josh play enough efficient football to let him throw the ball as needed.
I'm over the turnover thing. That doesn't really matter to me as much as it does to a lot of people. Don't be egregiously bad at turnovers, but if you're going for the gusto and you throw a pick or whatever the case may be, I'll take that. That's a play I'll take, because you got to show teams you're willing to do this and that and third. I don't know if it's the Saints next time, so I don't know what that was all about, but they saw 2 poor teams in the division. They say, you know what, why bother? I mean, to your answer, or to your question of why it is that we saw yesterday versus what we've seen in the past. I think, I don't know. Honestly, I think they were playing conservative because they just came off a game on Sunday. I think they were playing conservative, and they do it. They knew they had it in hand. That's the way I look at it. They knew they had it in hand. They were like, you know what? We're not going to show them everything because we can beat them with anything. I think that's what they really do. They said we can beat them with anything, so why show them everything? That's just what it looked like on the field yesterday. You know, we saw a lot of stacks, a lot of things that were like, oh, we could do this, we could do that, we could do, but they just wouldn't do it. You know, Josh was checking down everything. He went for an insanely high completion percentage yesterday because he could.
Yeah.
But that goes back to my point of why I wasn't worried about the game yesterday. You know, how many times, and I all 22 wasn't out when I got to watch it, but how many times could you say where he checked it down to Cook or checked it down to Secure or whoever? There wasn't a Coleman downfield
like
or something
once
like
or
that.
twice. He didn't do it very often.
What I'm saying is, like, there wasn't somebody along a further option.
Oh,
you know, if needed.
There wasn't. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So I just don't. I think they got what they wanted. There really was just nothing for me to say, oh, we're done. I'm not ready to pack it in. And I know this is supposed to be the odd negative podcast, as you guys like to call it, but I just don't have it today. I don't have any negativity today.
I mean, that's kind of how I was after the Jets game too. And I caught flack for that, but I did want to point this out because I think, and Steve is kind of addressing this too. Sal says, calm down, sports fans. It's a long season. I mean, not that I'm like mad at Sal, but I'm gonna give my reaction to everybody that comes into any conversation with that sentiment. So Sal, don't take this as a personal attack, but let's just be quiet for the rest of the show because it's a long season. There's nothing to talk about right now. It sounds like we're panicking, so let's just stop panicking. We're not panicking. My point is, what the hell is there to talk about if you're not trying to analyze what's happening in the games? I understand that people don't want to hear reactions to negative things in a win, right? But I've said this before. I'm going to continue to say this every single time somebody says something like what Sal said, which is if a coach is going into the locker room after a game thinking that there are things that need to be worked on and fixed, then analysts like us should be able to have a conversation about that after the game just the same, right? Because it all comes down to we've noticed things that you can do better. And the idea of having conversations about it is for those people who are interested in listening. We sit down, we have a conversation. The people that are interested, they sit and they listen. If they have comments, if they have concerns about what we say, if they want to know more about what we say, then we go into it deeper. But I don't think the thing to do in conversations like this is to hop in and say, it's a long season, guys, let's calm down. We're not scratching our eyes out. Nobody's burning jerseys in here right now. As you said, Keys, and I fully understand this, it's week 3, but you know what? I'm not the kind of person that finds value in, man, the Bills look great in this game, and let's talk about all the great things they did. Like, everybody's doing that.
I got good stuff, but I'm not. That's not. Yeah, I mean, we got to be real about it.
Right.
We won the game. There was nothing to show. I do think that they left a lot on the sideline that they could have pulled out had they had to. But I get the sentiment. I wouldn't, matter of fact, I wouldn't even say that the defense is mid. They're bad, but the Dolphins are just worse. So it's not even, like I said, it's not even a talent. It is part talent, but that's not my biggest grievance. The talent is what it is. We have no money. We have we got what, 14 more games to play.
We have $3 million, sir.
I got $1 in my wallet. You can contribute that to somebody, but it's just the fact that we can scream about the stuff we can control, and the stuff we control is the scheme.
Yeah,
we can control Trey White being on the field in the situation. We can control switching from zone defense last year that worked never, but could have worked had you got, like I said, Trey Amos, had you got Will Johnson, had you got a zone corner. Why change stuff? You went and drafted Dorian Strong, who was probably one of the better press man cornerbacks in the 2025 draft. You went and drafted him. You got Max Harrison, who was a wild card. He's not great at either one, but he can be good. When you had two bona fide guys at that position that you need sitting right there.
Yeah.
We're a Super Bowl team. A Super Bowl team doesn't change the scheme. Why is KFC? Do they have 13 herbs and spices now? Still 11. Still 11. 100 years and counting. Still 11. So, it's like, why do you change the recipe when you're building on something?
Yeah.
You had Hyde, you had Poyer, and you had Trey White. It worked.
Yep.
Why change it up? They sit on things too long, and they say, you know what? The Joneses are, let's do this instead. Let's bring in this coach and that coach and this coach and change up.
Yeah.
Let's blitz now. We don't have anybody can blitz, but let's blitz because what the hell? We don't have anybody that can cover a man, but let's do man. What the hell? They'll never see it coming.
You know what it is, and I'm sorry to chop you.
No, you're
good. What I think it comes down to is something that Sean has said in his press conferences before, which is, and this is mainly off-season stuff where he talks about, after he signs a player or drafts a player, we're going to get him in, we're going to see what they can do, right? We've heard Sean say specifically that they will get everybody into training camp and they will see what everybody can do, and then they will figure out what works and go with that, basically. And I know I'm paraphrasing. I'm not saying exactly specifically the way he said it, but that's his mentality. His mentality every season is every team's going to be a different team. That he said specifically. Every year it's a different team. We can't expect every year to be the same exact thing. And when you take that mentality, you're basically saying we really don't have an identity. Our identity is whatever we decide it is in training camp, when I see what everybody can do and what they can't do. And then we'll build an offense off of that. We'll take out of the playbook whatever we need to take out of it that doesn't work for the guys we have. But if you're going into every offseason with this mindset that I'm just going to take a bunch of pieces, throw them in a pot and see what sparks out of there, that's I got you, Steve. Give me 1 second.
I was going to do it anyway. Thank you.
But when you get into that mode where that's your mindset every year, there's not going to be any consistency with performance. There can't be, unless you're a guy like Josh Allen, where you could just expect elite play every year. So let's get to Steve's comments. Steve, first and foremost, thank you very much, sir. Says,
I felt rushed. Yeah, there we go. That sounds better. Okay, all right. Woo! A little extra flair, some razzle dazzle.
Steve says, my bad. I grew up in an Asian family. I couldn't just bring a C on a test home and say other kids did worse. I'm not the only one who made mistakes, or it's a long semester. I was taught standards.
Yeah, must be. But see, that must be. I don't think that's to do with Asian. That must be a key shine. It must be Asian too, then.
No, it's a parents who give a damn thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's how I raised my kid.
Yeah,
my mom yelled at me last night. We had an open house for Ken and the teacher. He's so wonderful. I don't care about him being wonderful no more. Where is his damn homework? He don't have no homework? Why not?
Yeah, they stopped all that, bro.
Oh, no. She said, because she's new, she said, what did she say? I hope she's not watching. Whatever. You saw me last night. She said, I got to talk to other third grade teachers to see if they, because one believes in homework, one doesn't. I'm like, one believes in homework? Hell no. Nah. Send them on in. Send them home. I'll give them homework. Don't worry about it. We got it. I heard all I need to hear. But no, I mean, to the point, Steve, I can tell you right now, in grade school, I was getting 98s, 99s, and my uncle, which actually is the same last name as one of our favorite whooping boys on the Bills, relation, we don't know. But I get a 98, 99, the overall average. He'd be like, you could have did better and give me a $50 bill. You could have did better. How? It's a 99.4. I can't do no more than this.
Right. Without
one test in the first week of the school, you could have got a 100, not a 99. Well, that's what did it. Okay, fine. Give me my money and get out of my face. But it's a standard thing. It's a higher expectation that a lot of people don't have. Yeah. And Steve, what you understand, well, you might understand, but what a lot of people don't understand is we don't have to be happy we have a team. We got a team.
Exactly.
You don't have to be happy just that they exist. You got a quarterback. You got a running back. You got all these things. And I'm going to get on some more people about that running back in a minute. But yeah. So Steve, I understand what you're saying, but what we have to do is come in the middle here and understand that what is done is done. This roster has been built over the last 3-4 years.
Yeah.
You can't tear it down now, so I'm not going to stop watching this team right now.
Yeah.
I got to see it through and let these bad contracts just roll their way off until they keep restructuring. Remember that word, guys? How many times I say, don't restructure. Stop it. Micah Hyde, don't care. Trey Henderson, don't care. I don't want to restructure anybody else.
Right.
Go get your own talent. It's cheaper. Because now we're looking at Trey White. Now we're looking at all these guys that are here blocking Dorian Strong, blocking now Max Harrison. Because why? Familiarity. Somebody in the Discord last night said, "Why is he playing?" I said, "You thought Harrison and Strong really had a shot?" No,
right.
It was never a shot.
It's Trey White now.
No.
Sorry.
Like, what are they seeing him? Familiar face.
Yeah.
Maturity. It's all the same thing. It's all the same thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's good, but when it's over, it's over. Milano, it's over.
Right.
I Tommy on the show, I think it was Monday, I wrote and I said Milano's washed, man. And I wouldn't say he's washed. He's washed, man.
Yeah.
They're washed.
Yeah.
I wanted
to expound on your point about you were talking about, oh my gosh, I don't want to lose the thought. It was so good.
The grades?
Yeah, it was the grades conversation, but you were saying you're talking about standards and oh my gosh, I'm losing that thought. It was so good too. It was so good. So you just man, go through it one more time. You were talking about the teacher standards. One believed in homework, one didn't.
Mm-hmm. I said just send him on in. I'll give him his own homework at home.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then you were talking about, okay. So I think that's the point that I wanted to grab and just kind of put on blast in terms of standards, right? Because the idea of bringing out things that need to be improved upon is born from a desire of better benefit for the product itself and for myself and everybody else that's watching with me. Right now, here's where I think people like Sal not take advantage, but actually it's not taking advantage at all. I think it's more take for granted. That's the point that you brought out that I think is key here, is that we when we complain about the team, we're complaining because we expect more from a team like this. When we see the Bills have a close game against the Dolphins, who got blown out by the Colts and Daniel Jones, we look at this team as we should dismiss them easily. Everybody, literally everybody, went into this game saying to themselves, man, we're probably going to blow these guys out, right? I was the one on the pregame show yesterday talking about the Bills have only won by double digits 33% of the time against Mike McDaniel. So we actually don't have that kind of success against Mike McDaniel most of the time, right? That's what the math says. But in my gut, I still felt like that should come about. Why? Because a lesser quarterback than the one we have just did it.
Mm-hmm.
A team that has weapons that are less skilled. I think that's one of the teams that I can say that, most of their weapons are less skilled than what we have.
Yeah.
They did it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if I'm going into this game and I'm seeing my team, a Super Bowl contender, ain't nobody talking about the Colts that way, but they talking about us as a Super Bowl contender, and we go into the game and we win by 10 points. That's it. Like it's not taking for granted, right? If we're talking about taking for granted, we take air for granted. Right? We take water for granted.
We take our backs for granted.
We take our backs for granted. 1,000%. I can't tell you how much stuff I haven't been able to do over the last 3 or 4 weeks with my back recovering from a damn sneeze.
I was every time you sneeze, like, oh no, wait. Oh God, this is it. This is what happened. I survived. Yes. I survived.
I'm telling you, that's exactly how it be, bro. That's exactly how it be. I gotta hold my left leg, and I gotta tighten up my body to make sure I don't pull nothing on a daggone sneeze.
So I got a pike.
Right.
Oh God.
but to me, that's taking advantage. Taking advantage is when you have access to something, or you have something that's really good and you pretend like you don't. That's taking advantage, right? The expectation of my children to follow their dreams, like that's not taking advantage. That's having a high expectation of them to pursue and achieve everything that they dream about doing with their lives and in their lives, right? Me taking advantage of my children would be, they're just here for my satisfaction. Go get the remote for me, even though it's on the table right in front of me. right? That's taking advantage of my children. Taking advantage of my children is I'm going to put a bill in their name just because I can, because I have their social security number. That's taking advantage, right? So again, a lot of what we're talking about here comes down to perception, but I think it could very easily, for a lot of these folks that really don't want to hear the negativity, I think it comes from a perception of they really just, to hear something bad about what they think is good feels bad, and they're reacting off of their feelings. If they were taking the time to consider the numbers, the convergence of information, what happened on the field, what the coaches said about the game, what the players said about the game, I don't see how they could come away from this feeling like nothing needs to be improved upon, or to have this idea that we don't need to actually talk about it. I'm sure the team has got it. They'll get it and it'll be fine. Even though for 9 years we've been having the same conversation.
Yeah, that's the gotcha. It's you know, like you said, the expectation factor and expecting to blow out a team is fine for the fans. But you know, our team isn't wired that way. And that's I've come to that realization, just like I've come to the realization we're never going to get an edge rusher for real. Yeah. You know, they tell you Bosa ain't no freaking edge rusher. That's not what an edge rusher. Edge rusher is get little, get low, get to the quarterback, not compress. Laura asked me what's the difference when we were talking. I said, okay, so what we like is we like those big guys that push guys into the quarterback. Right. We don't like the not little guys, but those quick twitch guys that beat you off your man. Did you see Dawkins yesterday trying to handle Jalen Phillips? My man was doing the lambada. Like his kick slide, he wasn't even kick sliding. He was backpedaling. Like, you kick slide into all those memes you see on Instagram where those guys are, he was back, and then his feet were like doing this weird thing like this. And I'm like,
he couldn't kick slide fast enough.
He couldn't kick slide. He was
doing the MC Hammer.
Dude. But go watch. I promise you guys, go watch the whole watch when he held. He got called for holding. He hugged the guy. His feet, he could tell he already knew he was out, man. He knew he lost. Then the next rep, the same thing. Then the one after that, the same thing. Then I realized David Edwards was holding. David Edwards gave somebody a bear hug. Mm-hmm. So everybody that says the Bills never get calls, watch that game.
Yeah.
Watch that game, because we didn't get half the calls we should have got. We actually won the penalties, the penalty count yesterday. It was, I think, 6-5 or something like that. Mm-hmm. But if you watch the technique that they had against real football players, it's different. And see, that's why yesterday I'm like, we won by 10. Cool. Not that I'm happy the fact that that's all we could muster, but the fact that I know it could have been a lot worse, because, see, they have football players masquerading as a bad team.
Yeah.
The Dolphins are, TD, I know you ain't watching, but I'm going to talk to you anyway. Your team is bad.
He need to watch. He need to sit down and watch.
Knows. See, yeah, I know. He knows. And Laura, thank you for trying to put our bug in his ear. But
wow, I didn't know that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, she tried. Yeah.
He wasn't having it.
Oh no, she said, and honestly,
he'd probably be like, these guys hate their team just as much as I do.
But no, and watching a lot of the footage that they had when he was in Buffalo, he seemed like a very nice freaking dude. So I appreciate him even more than before. He won't say Josh Allen's name. He said, Josh Allen. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying his name. That guy, your quarterback. But he said, he said, if Josh Allen's making $55 million, Tua should be making 27. That's what he said. But Tua's making more cash per year than Josh Allen a year, so whatever. Take that where you want. But what's up, Lynn? But no, I mean, we get too caught up in the fact that, and you've always said it. Now we're talking about, I know you were, I appreciate you. Now we're talking about a quarterback, now a running back, covering for the whole offense, so to speak. Because guess what? Yesterday, that team, they went all in on James Cook yesterday. Did you notice that? He went 7 for like 73 yards, and they stacked the box every time.
Yep.
Where's the play action pass? They didn't want it. You think Josh didn't see that? The Mr. Genius quarterback, you guys honestly think Josh Allen didn't see, they're stacking the box, I need to do something else. Nah, let's keep running at it. We'll beat it. Because I'm not worried about it. And when I saw it, I said, you know what? He's not worried. I'm not worried. So we all selfishly want to pound people into the sand, but there's no poll. NFL has no poll ranking.
Yeah.
College, Alabama's got to pound Valdosta State into the sand. But the Bills can beat you by 1 every week and still have the same 1 seed. They could still be undefeated and go to the Super Bowl if they wanted to. You know, so I look at it and I get it. It was an ugly performance. It was a boring performance. It was slow. It wasn't what you expected out of Josh Allen. You want to see him run for 85,000 yards. James Cook break every tackle on the man. You want to see Keon Coleman mossing for people. You know, and I'm watching other podcasts. Well, there was a podcast that I put in the Discord, a very well-known Bills podcast, who acts like I don't know he didn't like James Cook.
Oh, you talking about
yes, I am.
What's his name?
Joe Marino. Yes, I am.
Say his damn name. Joe Marino.
Kev, I know, Kev. But I mean, the defense was so bad. How much do we want to talk about them? but see, what I'm doing is saying that. Oh yeah, I just realized what that name was. Good Lord, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. But no,
Tommy couldn't say it yesterday. He gave up halfway. He was like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
You,
yeah, that guy, that dude.
Yeah, no, Kev. But see, you're really submitting what I'm saying. I wasn't worried because the offense could turn it on anytime they wanted. The defense actually played better than I expected. I thought they were going to get both. 18 had 7 catches for 30, 40 yards, or something like that, 50 yards. Yeah, he didn't run for much, but he never runs for a lot. He's really not a running back in the prototypical sense.
Yeah,
he doesn't kill you with the ball. He kills you after receptions. He kills you in the screen game where he gets going. But the Bills always have something for that. You know, so I wasn't worried about 18. Tyreek Hill. Can I talk about Tyreek Hill's haircut?
What's wrong with it?
It's the most god awful thing I've ever seen. Dude, he looked like that. Mister, you got any candy? That's what he looked like. Casio tablet, like that little annoying cousin, be like, yo, what games you got on your phone? That's what he looked like. He looked like, yo, when he said that, he was like this. He looked like he says bruh for no reason. Bruh. With that thick ass neck. Bruh. I hate it. Grow the braids back. But no, going back to the offense, you know, they said they had, it's like, let's say you play chess. If you play against Raylan, are you going to checkmate him on your third move? You might. Never mind. But you know where I'm going with this. You know, I mean, most people are like, you know what, I'm going to play with my food a little bit. And I even said that in the Discord. I said, why they playing with their food? Because when I say, where was the play action? That was dead to rights. All the Dolphins needed was to see James Cook bust another one off. And they were like, oh, snap. We got to watch James Cook.
Right.
If you played against the Ravens, and the Ravens wouldn't do that first and foremost because they're a good team.
100%.
So that's number one. You know who you're playing against. And as fans, you're like, yo, kill them. Because I gotta go on their Discord and watch their podcast and trash them. But the Bills are like, another one. And I think that's how they really think. Another one. You know, it is what it is.
See, and this is I think again, and this is why I'm trying to bring this cultural tendencies conversation up is oh my gosh, thank you. Appreciate that, bro. That's huge. Appreciate you. So I think, and again, this is why I'm bringing up the cultural tendency conversation. I think I don't think the Bills, and I don't think Sean would ever let the team go into a game thinking, yeah, we got this, we're fine. I think this was more of a practice in staying patient, staying disciplined, trusting the process, trusting the game plan. We've heard Sean say all this stuff at halftime before. We just got to trust the process. We got to stick to our fundamentals. We got to, like, all that same stuff is stuff that you saw the team kind of lethargically, you know, coaxing themselves throughout the game. And I agree with you. I didn't see panic on Josh's face at all. I didn't see it in his play. He looked very calm. He looked very poised. But for me, the worry was defensively, because it was like, yeah, I know Josh can turn it on anytime he wants. I wasn't seeing anything from the Dolphins defense that was like, holy, you know, crap, this is going to be a problem. But I think when you're looking at what the defense is capable of doing, what we saw against the Jets kind of sticks out more as a you know, the Jets are just that bad, as opposed to, man, the Bills defense really did it to them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, again, we still gave up 21 points to this Dolphins offense. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. You know what? Let me go and let me check this. Let me see if I can fact check this here really quick.
What you need?
Bills versus Dolphins scores.
Pass scores?
Yeah.
I can get that.
Okay. See if you can grab that for me. Because if I'm not mistaken, we've had some pretty bad defenses the last 4 years, right? And McDaniel's only been there for 3 years. And pretty much every time they score about that much on us, right? So what's my point? My point is this was supposed to be an improved defense. Yet here you have a mind like Mike McDaniel coming in here with basically the same players on offense, just, you know, one additional weapon in their young rookie running back, but they're still scoring 20 points on you. I don't think they probably had 2 games in the entirety that Mike McDaniel's been the head coach for the Dolphins where they've scored under 20 points. I'm almost willing to bet money that that's the case. But you let us know when you find that. But my point, I guess the heart of what I'm trying to really get at is defensively in this game. If you weren't going to do a lot of the things that they were going to do in blitz, if you weren't going to do stunts, if you weren't going to do what you do best and play that zone, that strong zone coverage, or that hybrid, you know, zone man scheme that you do where you know a guy comes into your zone and now all of a sudden you're matching up on him. Like, these are some of the things that we've seen the Bills do. That's like, yo, when you do that, your defense does well. But you choose to go man on third down several times yesterday.
Okay, so what are you looking for? You're looking for from when, 2020?
Well, McDaniels has been the head coach since 2019, right? Or 2020.
I'll do 2020.
Okay.
All right, so Buffalo at Miami, we won 31-28. Buffalo at Miami won 1-3-2021, 56-26. 9-19-21 Buffalo Miami 35-0, 10-31-21, 26-11, and I'll just keep going. 21 points for Miami. I'm sorry, 21 points for Miami. I'm sorry, 29 points, 20 points, 14 points, 10 points, 27 points, and 21 points.
So 5 times they've scored less than 20. Well, this is we've only played 6 games against McDaniels.
5. Yeah.
So
5.
the last 3 years. The last 3 years, how many times did they score 20?
Okay, so 2022, we got 21, 29, 20, 14, 10, 27, 21.
So twice we've played that team under Mike McDaniel as head coach, and they've scored less than 20 points. So that proves my point. That's exactly what I'm talking about. This is a defense that over the last 3 years was supposed to be building something. They were supposed to be improving, and they were supposed to be working towards not having these kinds of huh?
I saw metastatic. Welcome. He joined, and I didn't see he joined, and he sponsored somebody.
Okay.
So yeah, I appreciate the sponsor, and welcome to the family.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So here's what you need to do really quick is after the show, the links for our social media is in the description. DM me and just let me know that you join the membership or whatever, and then I'll you got to send me your email too, and then I'll email you the link for our Discord chat, because we have a Discord chat that's for our members specifically. We text a lot during the game and really every day, really.
All day, every day.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little family now. But yeah, so definitely do that at the end of the show. And I will get that to you.
Before you scroll, Darcy Gator, they draft low, have cap used up. The good players go to teams that are building. I can't do that. They draft low, yeah, that's true. But why is it that all of our hits are always in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round? Why is that?
Right.
I mean, if you have to find better talent, or you need to get better bang for your buck, trade back or package those picks, your 1st and 2nd. Since you know they're not good in the 1st and 2nd, package your 1st and 2nd. Mm-hmm. Get you a bona fide player. What is that? 1st and 2nd will get you 18, 19, maybe
somewhere around there. Yeah.
So you're gonna get a Brian Thomas Jr. You're gonna get
throw a player in there. You
yeah.
could have traded Milano this offseason and gotten pretty decent value for him.
Or the whipping boy Epinesa. You could have did a lot of things. You could get you could trade up if you didn't go get Bosa and Hoyt and Ogunjobi, and you could trade your 2 first-round draft picks and Epenesa or Milano and go get yourself Michael Parsons or somebody like that. There's a lot of different things you could do. So don't let them tell you. The people that don't think will tell you all the time, well, we don't suck bad enough. Yeah, you're lazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's laziness.
It's very lazy.
Other teams are aggressive. They say one team actually says F them picks. That's their philosophy. F them picks.
The Rams. Yep.
We just trade everything to move up where we want to go.
Yep. That's it. I'm about to say something that I think at least one person listening to us right now is gonna say thank you, which is I looked at the inactives for this game, and yet again, Curtis Samuel is on that list.
Mm-hmm.
And for a guy making $8 million, almost the same amount of money that Josh Palmer is making to start for this team as the number one receiver, the number
right.
one receiver. It's kind of frustrating because again, as you put it, it's very lazy. We don't want to. I think it's one of two things. Either we don't want to do the work necessary to find a place for this guy and make that happen, or we want to reserve this guy in case somebody gets injured. We still have an athletic guy that knows our system that we can trust to put him out there in key situations. And to me, if you got Shavers out there playing and you're inactive with Curtis Samuel, that's the writing on the wall right there. To me, that says all you need to know about the value of Curtis Samuel on this team. And you're not going to increase his value by just benching him, right? The only reason that I think a team could justify doing that is if they've already gotten a phone call from another team that has interest in him, and they're simply just leaving him there so that he doesn't get hurt. That's the only justification. But why is nobody asking this question in the press conferences? Why is no? Matter of fact, I want to get to this really quick. This is a quote from Joe Brady, and Matt Perino posted this on Twitter. And this basically Matt Perino asked about the struggles of the Dolphins offense. And I wanted to get to this before we get too much further into everything else that we want to talk about the game. But this is what Joe Brady said. He said, I think it's probably a combination. I thought, you know what, let me get the exact question. So Matt Perino asked whether there was something specific the Dolphins did that forced the Bills or Allen to operate mainly in the short areas of the field. Josh Allen finished with 3.7 intended air yards per pass attempt last night. Since the start of the 2021 season, Allen has only dipped below 4 IAY intended air yards per pass attempt once in last season's Week 9 win over the Dolphins. Last night, Allen only attempted one pass more than 10 yards down the field. All right, so here's Brady's full answer. He says, I think it's probably a combination. I thought Josh did an incredible job last night at taking what they gave us, right? They do a unique job, a bunch of versions of split safety and showing. And then let me bring this a little bit closer. And then dropping. No. This is very small. Look how small this is that I'm reading.
Fine.
Okay, so they do a unique job of a bunch of versions of split safety and showing, and they drop out and then dropping out, getting a lot of depth, right? Trying to put an umbrella to the defense. And that's not to say that there's not plays out there that are there to be had in those situations, but he did a really good job in being efficient with it, especially on a short week, right? There's not a lot of, you can only get so game plan specific on those days, right? You've got to give your guys what they know without ever getting a practice and a walkthrough in those situations. Mm-hmm. But look, I think if teams want to play split safety and give us the opportunity to be able to run the ball, and if Josh shows that he can be efficient to take those underneath throws, at some point they're going to have to switch that up, and then it opens up the deep throws. And as long as we don't get greedy and feel like we've got to make plays, I think I'm sorry. Oh yeah. So he said it wrong. He says, I think you want to be an explosive offense, so you got to be able to push the ball down the field. I think a given, but I think Josh is doing an elite job right now of, if it's not there, checking it down, finding the open receiver, getting our guys run after catch, being able to convert first downs. I would have loved for some of those balls to go further yesterday, but I thought he did a great job of playing efficient and doing what we needed to do to win that football game. So the reason I wanted to bring this up is because, first and foremost, this is straight from the offensive coordinator as far as his perception on what took place in that game. I understand the idea of what split safety does, right?
I hate it.
Huh?
I hate it.
Right. It's it's a blanket coverage to make sure that you keep everything in front of you. And listen, nobody understands that more than I do. It's a defense that we needed to employ to be able to stop Tyreek Hill on the Chiefs. So trust me when I tell you, I get it, right? But here's the thing. If you know that, then you have to also know that in order to beat that, you have to have receivers that can separate consistently underneath. Otherwise, you're not going to have very many options underneath. And I think that's what we saw yesterday that became the problem is, yeah, we're taking what they give us underneath, but there were a few times where they got us out on third down. So what does that mean? Well, that means that there wasn't an option available either underneath or past the corners in that second level, but just before the safeties. So it's not necessarily a matter of, we've got to just find ways to just be consistent with that and eventually the defense will change. No, has Sean McDermott ever changed his approach to playing the Chiefs? No. Split safety, bracket coverage every single time. That doesn't change. When you got a quarterback like Mahomes, when you got a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, when you got a quarterback like Josh Allen, that doesn't change. So this answer, in a sense, half of it is broken. Because if your idea is we're just going to take what you give us until you decide to change your ways, no. The defense would, like Sean McDermott, their defensive coordinator, Anthony Weaver, would rather you dink and dunk your way down the field because the more plays you run, the more of a chance there is you're going to make a mistake against my defense, which is the same exact thing that Sean McDermott has said before, is the approach.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday, it's funny when you watch the last drive of the Bills defense yesterday, Bean's words were ruminating in my head. What are you saying at our press conference? We're just going to keep kicking at that door until we kick it down. We're going to keep kicking at the door. We're going to keep kicking at the door. Guess what? Interception and kicked it down, finally. Because we haven't had a turnover. We were one of the few teams that didn't have a turnover, it forced turnover. One of the few teams that just kind of sat there. And when we got the interception, I said, okay, there is a door kick. Now, is this symbolic to the rest of the season or was this just a fluke? And who was it? Oh, Ren. I didn't say nothing about 21 points, man. I'm just telling you what's on there. That wasn't me.
Where you see that at?
It was before you scroll. So it was up. Ways. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, he said it a while ago. But yeah, he basically said this is the NFL and teams can score 21 points is okay. Relax, this and third. But no, I'm fine. You don't understand how calm I am with this right now.
Well, I mean, Sal's saying it too. All right, let's go back to this. Sal says they pay the other guys too.
I don't even know what that's in relation to. That was a while ago. That was 8 minutes ago. I'm old. Where'd that come from?
No, that can be said for almost the entire conversation we're having today. Is they pay the other guys too. That's in every circumstance. But guess what? when I was sitting up here and telling you about all the mistakes that the Bills were making in week one, and everybody wanted to talk about, but the win though, but how great did we look coming back on these guys? If we had been any kind of consistent through the first three quarters of doing what the Bills are capable of doing, we wouldn't have needed a win like that, right? Yeah. And so the question at that point becomes, well, yeah, the Ravens are getting paid. Are the Bills getting paid? Because they weren't acting like it for three quarters.
Yeah, I think for me, it wasn't that I was happy we won. I think it was more so as who we played, when we played, with what we didn't know.
Yeah.
Now we're 3 games in. We know what these guys are for the most part. Ed Oliver's out, Milano. That changes the dynamic a little bit. But who the hell is Michael Hoyt? What is Milano? Is he gonna get hurt the first play? Right. What is Bosa? Is he broken? What is James Cook? Is he gonna carry on from last year? Yeah. But now we got those answers. So now when I see yesterday, I'm like, they're toying with us like a lion. Just messing around with their food. But week one, I'm like, we gonna lose this game.
Right.
And it was, that was a classic Titans, perfect Bills fashion. What was that? Sunday night's best, home opener, new stadium. We're gonna lose this. And when we won, I'm like, we did it. All right. So yeah, it was good to be in there for the last home opener and all that stuff. But it was more so the opponent we played. We know the last time that they came to Buffalo, what happened? They came back on us, and we paid them back, so to speak, because we came back on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think who was it? Darth Stigler, I think his name was. And I hope Darth Skater. I'm sorry. Yeah, he said, look at the pass rush when Bosa came in. I mean, okay, Bosa was good in week 2. What did Bosa really do yesterday?
I mean, I'll put it like this. Bosa's pressure looks a lot different than Russo's pressure. And I get what the numbers say, but I still feel through these first 3 weeks that I really haven't seen Russo flash. Now, that doesn't mean that he hasn't gotten pressures. It doesn't mean that he hasn't been effective, but the plays that Bosa has come out with and put on tape is, him dominating his competition, not necessarily getting pressures from the standpoint of, only pushing his guy into the quarterback or getting so close by pushing his guy into the quarterback. We've seen him get a sack. We've seen him get rid of his guy and get a clear path to the quarterback sooner than, further than a yard before the quarterback, which yesterday I did see Russo get pressure where he was, pushing his guy basically a yard before the quarterback, and then he could kind of reach out and try to get to it. But when you see Bosa, shake a guy and throw him off and get a clear, uninhibited path to the quarterback, it's like that's real pass rushing to me. You know what I'm saying? And again, I don't even get happy about pressures. Like if Russo ends up being the pressure king, it's not a stat you can go to the Hall of Fame for.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get that, but at the same token, we didn't sack Tua one time yesterday. Bosa was by Tua enough times to get at least one, and he didn't. So, I mean, I saw Russo discarding this guy. I saw Bosa discarding this guy. Roy said Miami is playing 3 backup offensive linemen. Correct. So, Steve, why didn't you say that? That's usually Steve's tagline there. Who are they playing up? And so, I mean, when I watch the pass rush, I'm like, this is supposed to happen. There's nothing dynamic. Like Lindsay said, Tua's on his back. He's not on his back. He's clean. He's running on us. Now, this is a fun fact. Lindsay said, how come they didn't sack him 4 or 5 times? Guess what? He's only been sacked, 14 times in 9 games against the Bills. You want to know a fun fact even further than that? He got sacked 4 times in 1 game. So that tells you they don't sack Tua.
Yeah.
Tua don't get sacked by the Bills. So who if you thought he was going to get sacked, you were mistaken. Is that what you expected? You were mistaken.
It's more so the interceptions and
it's
all
the
that.
interceptions is knocking him off his pivot, making bad reads, off target throws. That's what his claim to fame against Buffalo is.
Yeah.
But so when I'm watching Bosa, is he bad? No, he's not bad. But this is not a rebirth of Bosa.
Mm-hmm.
This is just us having a horrible defensive end on the opposite side of Russo, and now we got something that's decent. But what do you think is gonna happen when Hoyt comes back? He's gonna look just like Bosa. At half the price.
Yeah.
So did you really need both? No.
So, okay, this is, and I need to be disciplined and put the camera on me when I'm actually talking.
I know I was going to say something. I did it with my mind.
It's okay.
I told you in my mind I'm going to be talking.
I think this comment gets this point started here. Bodega Cat, what's going on? Says the Ravens scored 40 back-to-back weeks, and I think to me, when the Bills show that they can put up 40 on a good team, you expect these other teams to be 50 that are significantly less competition than what the Ravens would be. And you have a head coach that has kind of shown he doesn't really want to win that way. He doesn't want to score 40 points a game. Why? Because that means you got to throw the ball too much and score, in order to score that many points in the span of a 3-hour football game, or an hour-long football game if you're counting the quarter minutes, you'd have to take too many chances, right? Whereas you can put up a good 30 by running the ball and having some long runs, a screen that goes for a long run, or a short pass that goes for a long run. You can run efficient plays that become boom plays or events as Sean likes to call them, and score 30 that way. But he doesn't want to do it the way the Ravens are doing it, tossing it all over the yard and completely destroying secondaries to score 40. Now, here's my issue with that, right? One of the things that we're hearing from a lot of fans this season is the Bills are capable of scoring all these points, but man, I just don't see it. Like they should be throwing the ball deep down the field. If I'm driving Uber or something like that, first thing people say when they start talking about the Bills, man, they got to start throwing it down the field. Now, let me ask you this: why do you think it is that fans who, and I'm not saying this to diss these people, but there's levels of fans where they have a strong understanding of football and how it works, and there's fans who you can tell based on hearing them talk they just love watching the Bills and they don't really know that much, right? But I've talked to both, and they both types. They all say the same thing. They need to get the ball downfield. They need to push the ball. They need to threaten these defense and attack. When you look at the offense that these fans are referencing, it's which offense? The 2020 offense, which just so happens to be the only offense with which Josh Allen has thrown the most touchdowns in a season that he's ever thrown. It's 46, right? Now, I forget what his interceptions were for that season.
What year is this?
2020.
I got you.
Thank you. So when fans are talking about throw the ball down the field, have some sort of dynamic approach to this offense, they're saying that because they've seen it here before, right?
11 interceptions.
11 interceptions to 46 touchdowns. Passing.
42.
42?
Mm-hmm.
What year do you have 46?
Yeah, 45 in 2021, 45 and 15.
40. Okay, for that's what it was. Okay, 45 and 21. So 42 touchdowns in 45 and 21, right? Because that's really what I'm trying to get at.
Yep.
So
15 interceptions. So
okay.
3-1. So it's okay.
Right. So when people are talking about the Bills having a dynamic offense, that's what they're referencing. They're referencing the 45 touchdowns. They're referencing the offense that could dominate the league and score 30 points on anybody. The Rams, the Steelers back then, it didn't matter who you were. We were dropping 30 on that neck. Like, bottom line, right? And here we are 3 weeks into a season where we've played 2 bad teams and we should have scored more than 30. And we only scored 41 because we absolutely had to.
You know what's ironic about the 2021 season when you think about it? If you look back on it, that was the year when he started throwing short balls. He started throwing the ball intermediate to short more.
Mm-hmm.
So when people say, throw it, this is people being selfish now. Throw it downfield because I want to see the excitement. That's not what the Bills have ever done under Josh Allen. I'm saying what we did yesterday.
They did under Dayball, bro.
What they did yesterday is boring. But Josh Allen he's never been a deep ball thrower. Ever.
If it's a bullet, I mean, like we've seen those.
Well, I'm talking about like a 20 plus. Josh Allen always works between 10 and 20. That's intermediate. He's an intermediate thrower.
I'm fine with it.
Me too, but what I'm saying is they say throw deep. They don't know what they're saying. When they say throw deep, they mean intermediate. Is what that's what worked for this team.
Yes,
Josh Allen's always been intermediate. So that's what we need to get back into. That's why Kincaid yesterday was good. That's why Kincaid was good in week 1, because guess what? Intermediate is the key. Yeah. Last year they wanted to do everything short, and then they want to go deep. So when people say I want to go deep, air it out, fine, do that. But guess what? You live intermediate. That's what you want to do. You want to go back to that.
Yeah, if you can be consistent in that intermediate, and I think. See, I always say it is go down the field. Mm-hmm. Like I don't even think about like intermediate, deep, short. Whatever. You got to get the ball down the field, right? I guess my interpretation would be anything past 10 yards is down the field. If you can. Oh,
you are a Trent Edwards fan.
Why? Why?
That's a bomb for him. 10 yards. What a windup that would be.
Anything past 10 yards is down the field. To me, that's like when you're thinking 10 to 20 yards down the field, you're thinking between the linebackers and the safeties, right? And I think if you can consistently attack that area between the linebackers and the safeties, that space if you're looking at it from a horizontal perspective, right? You're the quarterback. You're looking at that space between the linebackers and the safeties back here. That's the space you want to operate in consistently to be able to threaten a defense to the degree where they have to start doing different things coverage wise. If you can affect the coverage and force the split safety look to change, which you do need to be able to attack that area of the field to be able to do, then you can start getting into dictating to a defense. And I think that's the one thing that this patience robs us of, is we don't get to dictate to a defense. We let a defense tell us what to take. And we say, okay, you're going to give us 5. Cool, we'll take 5. You're going to give us, we're going to try for 5. Oh, you only gave us 2. Okay, that's fine. We'll take 2. Right? As long as it's not a negative play. But what happens when you only give us 1? Right? And now it's 4th and 1. Now what? Now what? Oh, we're going to punt. Why? Because it's the third quarter and we don't really need to score right now. It's not wise to take that chance right now. The analytics tell us we shouldn't take that chance right now. And this is not a point of me trying to criticize 4th down. This is a point of, because you only took what the defense gave you, you ended up going 3 and out. Right? And that's what we saw yesterday. We saw the Bills dinking and dunking, taking what the defense gave us, not taking chances down the field. There were a couple of times where doing that got the offense off the field without a score. So if the Dolphins can do that, what's to stop the Chiefs, who have a significantly better defense, from doing that? What's to stop the Eagles, who have a significantly better defense, from doing that? The idea that we had in our minds is, when you play the Eagles, you just attack the guy opposite from Quinyon Mitchell and you'll be fine. We didn't even do that with the damn Dolphins. We were supposed to get all up in Rasul Douglas's neck, and they couldn't even do it. Why? That's the question that I think we need to be asking. Why? Why didn't it happen? And we can speculate on that all night, but if your hand explanation. Well, you can see my picture. You can see my picture, Roy. Look at the screen. Anyway, Roy said your hand explanation doesn't work on audio. You're thinking for Spotify. No, we post the videos on Spotify. Anyway, Jeffrey Green says we still won the game. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not taking the win for granted. I'm not taking the win for granted. Please let that be understood. I'm not taking the run for granted.
And can I add to that though?
Sure.
Because on the radio, it's like they call in scared to get attacked.
Yeah.
Because all they do is, can I clarify this, please? Can I? I don't want to. I mean, every win is a good win, but no,
right?
Just say it,
right?
You don't have to come down on the team hard like some people will, but just say it. I mean, you're allowed to be a fan and still be critical of the team. You're allowed to not like something. You're allowed to like something somebody else doesn't like. You're allowed to enjoy it and ingest it however you want to.
Yeah, because
you're a fan. So when you write in these comments, when you call the radio show, when you talk to the podcast, don't clarify that. You're not getting attacked. If you do come get me, I'll back you up.
Right.
That's easy as that.
Right. Yeah. Steve says, Schottenheimer. Wait. Before I start making this same mistake again. All right. Says, Schottenheimer was also a coach who could never get over the hump. Was hired minutes after firing. Played the conservative philosophy. Never won at all. Not ever. That's the destiny of McDermott.
You got to get to the Super Bowl first, then we can compare to Schottenheimer.
Well, yeah, that's
Let's do that, and then we'll compare, because right now it's not even the same. I mean, it's the same trajectory, but it's 9 years in the making. We still waiting.
Yeah. Buffalo Buddha, what up? Says Miami played a lot better yesterday than in week 1 and week 2. That's the other thing. I think it's a divisional game. We knew the Dolphins were going to give it their all on national TV. The score prediction I gave was just purely hope, because I really wanted to see the Bills step out on national TV. I always do. Mm-hmm. And I don't want it to look like the game against the Ravens. To me, that is not a game with which I think instills fear in the league. Does it say a lot about Josh Allen? Yeah, 1,000,000%. But if you listen to the national media after that game, the conversation was about Josh Allen, not the Buffalo Bills. I want the Bills, I want the entire roster to be feared the way people think about the Ravens roster and the Eagles roster. That's what I'm about. I like you and I were having this conversation in text yesterday. For us, it's about the red, white, and the blue. It's about that logo.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not here for Josh Allen. I'm here past Josh Allen. I'm here before Josh Allen. I'm here for every other great player that comes in and leaves out when they're done playing. But at the end of the day, if the logo is not achieving the Super Bowl, if the logo is not getting the recognition it deserves, if the logo is not getting the respect, you know what I'm saying? If you took Josh Allen off of this roster right now, this logo does not get the respect that it needs. It doesn't. Right? So what does that mean? That means that the only reason you have it is because of one guy, and it's not Sean McDermott. Again, we've seen what Sean McDermott is without Josh. If he has halfway decent quarterback play, which Tyrod Taylor could give you, and doesn't make a lot of mistakes, he's a 9-7 head coach. Those are the facts. He took a team that was very close to the playoffs 2 years ago, or I'm sorry, very close, huh?
2 years previous.
Yeah, 2 years prior when before Rex Ryan took the team over, they were very close. When Schwartz was their defensive coordinator, they were close. That was a top 3 defense, if I'm not mistaken, when Jim Schwartz was here.
Yeah.
Right. So all they needed was competent quarterback play for that team, and they could have made the playoffs. So again. Let's keep the main thing, which is if we're going to talk about the success of this team, it needs to be about everything past Josh Allen. What are we seeing from the pieces around Josh Allen? What are we, and we're not going to compare these guys to other players on the team, right? Because that was one of the other things that we faced in conversations recently, which is, people saying Benford is a 6th round pick. You know how many times people say that in reference to how great Benford is?
It's always something because Tremaine Edmonds is still young.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we heard. He's
right.
Still young somehow. He's still not no good.
7 years removed from being on the Bills.
7 years removed from being young. He's still young. He can't grow a beard, so he's still young. I'm tired of being. I mean, it's like it's a qualifier. It's always a qualifier. That's your point. The 6th round pick and I think somebody in the Discord said it best. Who cares where they were drafted? Are they good or not?
Exactly.
And that's what we're talking about. Are they good or not? I don't care where they're drafted. People that use the excuse, well, you draft 30th, you draft 28th, you can't get good talent. So what other team in the free world packs the draft in after the 1st round?
Exactly.
They get talent. They get starters. What's the motto? A successful 1st rounder is a Pro Bowler. Mm-hmm. 2nd and 3rd is a starter. Mm-hmm. 2nd and 3rd is a starter. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Depth. Why is it that we pay all this money for our depth, but the depth is always a starter because they're familiar with the guys that are old and it's a big cycle.
Yep.
It's a cycle. This is like the most conservative nonsense you'll ever hear. Status quo McGee.
Let me see here. Bill, what's going on? My man says, what'd he say? Where are you at? Oh, that wasn't him. My bad. Steve, I want to get to this comment from Walter.
All of them, right? Let's do them all. Let's go one by one.
I know. All right. So Jeff Green, let's get to this one. It says, I went to the game last night and I felt like the offense was very balanced. And I think the issue is we can't get no pressure defensively without Oliver. Yeah. The thing that I wish we had is players across the defensive line that were effective on their own, right? I think there's a little bit too much emphasis on team ball. And the issue with that is, and this is not supposed to happen. Like, this doesn't happen to teams like the Eagles, right? Where they just got guys all over the place on defense and offense, where if one guy falls off, they can still function properly just fine. Right, because they have so much, everywhere that it doesn't matter, and the Bills don't seem to have that. They don't seem to have this, and I guess you could kind of say this on offense, where Shakir is kind of barely been targeted all like that, and really this Dolphins game is probably the biggest game he's had so far this year. But that's because he's getting healthier. But the Bills have still been fine and scored 30 points without him having a huge impact role in the game plan. That's not what I want to be saying about a guy that I'm paying what I'm paying Shakir. And I think that's kind of the issue here is if Christian Benford had gotten hurt in that game and come off the field and not been able to play, I would have been perfectly fine with Dorian Strong. Why? Because he's faster than Benford. He showed in the Ravens game that he can stay disciplined and read his keys right and not get destroyed on defense. And that matters, right? But what does that say about Benford? You see what I'm saying? Like I don't want to have a guy getting paid like that if he's interchangeable. And then the guys that we have that are not interchangeable affect so much other stuff on the defense, like Ed Oliver, where like you barely get a pass rush against a Dolphins offensive line that is as bad as they are this year. Like three guys who don't typically start, and this is their first year starting, and that's your performance against them?
They blitz 20% of the time. So, I mean, you weren't trying to confuse them. You weren't trying to do anything intricate. You were just trying to run head up, man on man.
Right.
And that's what they always do. But the thing is, they don't understand. They don't have the talent to do so. I wanted to touch on that comment that I highlighted because I'm confused. Okay, he said, let's not forget we put up 30 points without Josh Allen scoring once. That's proof. Just like, I mean, what do you mean? He had 3 touchdowns passing. So are we just talking about rushing? Because you got to factor in the passing.
I think he's talking about the Jets game though. I think he's talking about the Jets game.
Okay.
That game we did score 30 without Josh, doing anything. But again, I
he had to do more than the Jets game. He did it yesterday.
Right.
More than yesterday.
The idea here is, and what I typically do on this show is I'm analyzing the Bills during the season in preparation for the playoffs. So when I'm looking at what they do on offense, when I'm looking at what they do on defense, I'm not seeing the right now. I'm not even enjoying the right now. I could care less what games they win during the regular season. I know they're going to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I know they're good. They're probably going to go 2 or 3 games into the playoffs. But the key is when they get to that last game of the playoffs before the Super Bowl, what are the things that I know I can count on? Right. And I think that's it, even as a coach, that's what you coach for. You coach to bring out the consistencies of these players so that you know what you're going to get on a week-to-week basis. And I think the one thing that's been consistent so far through 3 weeks is the inconsistency of both the offense and the defense. Neither side of the ball has performed consistently throughout all 3 games except for Josh Allen. You can throw a few players in there like James Cook. Yeah, sure. He's been very consistent when given the opportunity because he didn't get that many opportunities in the Jets game, right? You can look at Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman's been fairly consistent with his performances, week to week. So there, but as a team, you had to come back from down 16 to win that game week 1, right? Your offense had not performed that well all game long. In week 2, you kind of blunder into 30 points against a team that you're supposed to dominate. But because that team is so bad, you're holding the ball for pretty much the entire game, and you're able to, kind of do what you want in a sense, and without actually pressing the issue, you score 30 points, right? So that's what I mean when I say you kind of fall into 30. You kind of blunder into 30 in that week, which is different from week 1. Right, because you had to come back to score 41 in week 1. Then you kind of fall into 30 in week 2, and then week 3, you're in a back and forth battle to score 31. You see what I'm saying? It's different every week, and if somebody says, well, that's the NFL, we fighting because the idea here is what are the consistencies of my offense right now? It's week 3 already. You're almost a month into the NFL season. Something should be sticking out as we can definitely do this week in and week out, whether we try hard or not. And the points that.
Okay, good. Because it's true.
yeah, exactly. I'll let you hit that in 1 second.
Yes.
So
I will wait.
But again, this idea of but they're scoring 30 points. It doesn't matter in the playoffs because they're not scoring 30 points a game in the playoffs. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
They scored 29 against the Chiefs. Or what was it? It's 29-27, I think it was. Was that the score?
Chiefs?
Yeah, last year. AFC Championship game.
Yep.
29-27. So they scored 27 points against the Chiefs. Right? So it's not like we can expect to fall into 30 points in the playoffs. It's not like we can expect to come back from down 16 in the playoffs. We haven't done that in the playoffs. We haven't come back from down 16 in 4 minutes in the playoffs. So we can't expect to just turn it on like that in the playoffs.
It was 32-29. That was the first. I think it was
32-29. Okay.
They scored over 30 points.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, wait a minute. This got to be right. It's over 30 points. I thought that.
Yeah. Thank you, Darth. And thank you, Keys. So yeah, I thought it was 29. That's why I said 29 right off the bat. But
Darth can take it.
Huh?
Darth can take it. He could. He got it. He got all the credit. You got it, Darth.
Okay.
I'll take a knee. I'll take another one.
Take a knee.
Yeah, I'll take a knee on this one.
All right, so let's get into this Marino deal here because you mentioned it earlier today, and I really want I want the fullness of that point because when people need to be called out, I'm all about it.
I almost crashed my car.
What do you say?
I was at Tops, and he was like, "Let's face it, James Cook, he's a man. He's a star in this league." He said, "There's nothing he can't do. I mean, his vision's elite. We haven't seen it since LaShawn McCoy." I'm like, if you don't shut your damn mouth, you ain't gonna talk about my. I mean, you
get him.
I mean, okay. So let's put this to bed. This is the first stat I got. So James Cook, he's only a part of the offensive line. I just told you yesterday, the offensive line was actually not great. They'll say they were, but they weren't great.
Mm-hmm.
James Cook, yards before contact, 1.7 yards. Yards after contact, 3.8 or 4.8. The offensive line didn't let him get touched, huh? He got hit pretty early, and he still made moves. Furthermore, Mr. Marino, did you see the block that James Cook picked up on the blitz?
Oh, no, I didn't see it.
You didn't see it?
No, I didn't see
he put his neck right in there. He took that. Oh, yeah, he got in there. Because they blitzed up the middle. James Cook, next thing you know, no more blitz.
Put him on his butt?
Put him on his butt. No more blitz. I said this before this season. Challenge James Cook. He's going to show you he can do it. I said this on YouTube. Challenge him. He'll do it. Yep. Now, James Cook, they're talking about, I thought he was going to break it. Okay, fine. He got tripped a few times, but Jeremy White this morning said there is a different tone when James Cook touches the ball. Every time he touches the ball, he goes, oh, and he gets tackled. Oh, he said every time he touches the ball, you think something big is going to happen.
Yeah,
every time. Lynn, thank you. But see, the thing is, I can appreciate when people say, you know what? Okay, I see it now. But don't talk like you saw it the whole time. You're ready to replace this man.
Exactly.
You got us looking at Omarion Hampton. You got us looking at Basul Tootin. You got us looking at Travion Henderson. Don't pay this man. He's a dime a dozen. Ray Davis can do that. Where's Ray Davis now? 7%.
He done lost some pounds and now he can't move apparently.
7% snaps yesterday. 7%. Somebody said, I think it was the morning show on 550. He said they said it's a 3-headed monster. Actually, no, it's more like a 2-headed monster because you got Cook, then you got Ty Davis.
Damn.
So what am I doing here? As Bodega Cat said, Cook might get Offensive Player of the Year. I wouldn't go that far because you got to remember he's on pace for 67% of snaps for the season. Mm-hmm. That's not going to happen. He's on pace for 325 carries. That's not going to happen. He's on pace for 1,700 yards. That's not going to happen. I'm fine with that. But the thing is, just give the man his due.
That's it.
The man is nice. You heard him on the broadcast last night. What did he say? What Al Michaels say? This is a star running back in this league. Not on this team. He said, this is a star running back in this league. Al Michaels. Seen a lot of guys come and go. This is a star. What did Herb Street say? He said, that dude's elite. He said, he's got elite traits. That guy's a difference maker. On this team, that guy is the number 2. Unquestioned. This goes through Josh and him.
Breaking the cords.
I know,
in here
because
and stuff.
Josh, because they got me doing that. Now, I'm gonna watch TV later, but no. I mean, the thing they said, and Herbstreit said, he said, the only reason people don't know who James Cook is because he's overshadowed by Josh Allen. The only reason they don't know who this guy is.
Yeah.
So when everybody don't pay this man, stand on that. He's not worth it. Stand on that. We can find another one. Stand on that. When he becomes elite, when he becomes that next guy, not Saquon, that's different. When he becomes Derrick Henry, that's not going to happen, but that's different. This is an up-and-coming guy. This is a guy that's going to say, we want to find the next James Cook. This is the next Josh Allen, and people are going to say, you know what? I want that. Who is that? That's another guy, like I always say. Remember, I said, let's go get Henderson. Let's go get Parson. Let's go get somebody else's talent. This is a guy that people want from Buffalo, James Cook. How do we get him? Buffalo, what do we have to do to get that guy off you? What do we need to do? Can we get that draft pick? What do you want? And Bean's going to say, no, I'm not doing it. And I will give him credit there because $15 million, he didn't even, his cash money isn't even $15 million. It's whatever it is, $12 million, whatever the case may be. I don't even remember what his contract is. But the point is, we have this guy. Now let's get somebody. I was messing with somebody in the I bet Tommy still won't call Cook a day. He did. Last night he did on his show last I think it was last night post-game show.
Yeah.
But see, Tommy even said let him cook. I'll give it to him. I'm leaving Tommy alone. But they said Cook's low key in the doghouse for fumbling on his rookie year. Yeah, still 3 years later, it's crazy.
Yeah,
I mean
they took him out of the game.
They did. They took him out
against the Jets.
Yeah, when he fumbled.
Yeah,
but he already did what he had to do, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But I joked with somebody and I said, you know what? I would have rather had Cam Scatterboom over Ray Davis. I would have rather had him.
I could see that.
I would have. I mean, if you had Scatterboom, you had a guy like that, you don't even need Ty Johnson because he's both of them. He's a receiving back and a third down back.
Yeah.
You see how he gripped up Russell Wilson?
Pass blocking, you mean?
No. Wilson was talking to somebody on the bench on the sideline. Scatterboom walks up, grabs him by his shoulder pads, pulls his face up. That's how you do it, bro. You a rookie.
Wow.
You're a rookie.
Wow.
I mean,
you got to have balls to grab your quarterback like that. Like
Russell Wilson. Yeah. Sierra don't even grab him like that.
Yeah.
but no, it's just different. It's like, okay, now we got a quarterback. Now we got this running back. I still believe in Keon Coleman. Last night, he didn't have to do what he usually does. When was Josh under duress? When was Josh playing off character? When was he playing off base? He wasn't. Yeah. Keon, you're useless in that kind of game. Not because you suck, but because your talent is finding an open space when the play breaks down. It never broke down. So take a day off, son. Kincaid, enjoy yourself. Everybody eats yesterday was kind of boring, really boring.
Yeah,
it was effective, and I likened Josh Allen to Zoomer. It's all good. You guys are watching us.
As long like if Joe Marino did this, then we'd leave Joe Marino alone. But he hasn't done this yet.
Yeah, even Rico said, "My guy." I'm like, Rico. Not yet, Rico. You know what you must do.
No wonder he came to the T10 to see me yesterday.
Did you see him or you?
No, I wasn't there. I felt terrible because I like when I finished work, I had just enough time to make it home and start setting up for the pregame show. So I wasn't able to make it out there at all. I was going to try to because I was like, man, if I take a drive out there right now, traffic might not be that bad. But if I got stuck, then I'm really screwed because I can't bust a U-turn in that kind of heavy traffic. Yeah. And it wasn't going to be no kind of way that I was going to get a parking spot, go over there, call him up, see where he at, say what's up, slap him up, take a photo, see the folk, and then get back, walk back to the car, pull back out, go to the left on Southwest because you ain't going to be able to get out nowhere going to the right towards the stadium. Right. So it would have been a big hassle. Yeah. I couldn't have done it.
That makes sense. I didn't know how you were going to do it. I had to work either way. You coming up? I said, man, I'm at work. He said, what about later? I'm still going to be at work, the other job. I said, I'm not dipping and dicing none of you. I can't get out of here. But no, I mean, the thing about this whole Cook scenario, the thing about this whole anybody really, if you poo-poo, because somebody even said in the Discord, they said, yeah, okay, you did say Kincaid was going to be better in structure. That's what he is. But I get it. It's emotional, and that's tying back where we started again. It's emotional. We want to blow everybody out. This, that, and third. I likened Josh Allen to Steve Nash because somebody said he's like Magic Johnson with that flip pass. No, because outwardly Josh Allen's not athletic. He's not, and Steve Nash was the kind of guy that you knew what he was going to do, and you knew how he was going to do it, but you couldn't stop him from doing it.
Right.
See, Josh Allen, how many times did he outrun somebody? Like, there's no way he can outrun that guy. There's no way, but he kept doing it.
Still did it.
There's no way he's juked that guy, but he did it. Lamar, and I don't know if you guys caught it, but I saw it on Instagram, the Lamar Jackson pass where he threw like the illest Mark Jackson teardrop pass to Bateman in the back of the end zone and ran off with the good times pose.
Oh my God.
So it was in my head. I read. I was like, I can do anything you can do better. I can do anything better than you. And that song resonated in my head because Josh Allen had just did that whatever pass to whoever was in the back of the end zone, and Lamar's like, I'm gonna do it too. And we're playing against Tua. What did Tua do 2-3 years ago? He kept doing that little forward pitch pass.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen said, you know what? Jackson Hawes, there you go, forward pitch pass. That's what he did. And it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's just fun to watch that stuff when I don't. No, I'm not talking about the kick, Prater. The Prater kick. It almost hit me in my face at work. That's how far off it was. And I work in Cheektowaga and not in Orchard Park. So that tells you exactly what you need to know. But yeah, no. Who said he's LeBron? He is part LeBron.
Yeah, kid.
He is part LeBron.
Yeah.
The floppage.
I want to get to this real quick before we get out of here because you gotta get to work.
I gotta run to that place. Yes.
Real quick, Darth says, did we talk about Prater's kick yet? That was blocked, or that was blocked, or he was extra wide left for real.
That wasn't blocked. That wasn't a hook. He man. That was a straight on. I don't. Yeah, he just shanked it. He just shanked it. It wasn't blocked at all. I don't know what he was.
But that brings about the conversation, and I just wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of air that one out too, because literally right after that, somebody was in the Discord chat like, "All right, we getting rid of him now? Like, are we bringing Tyler Bass back now? Are we done with Matt Prater now? He shanked what was it, a 30-yard field goal?
Yeah, it wasn't long at all. It was like, I was like, whoa. I mean, I said what's gonna happen when he misses the kick.
He's been saying it right now.
Prater building off your back. Yeah, it's like I'm warming them up for y'all. Man. Yeah, no, but no, that and we're not.
Oh, thank you, Spin. It was a 39-yard field goal.
Bodega Cat, thank you, because Steve is not just going to slander Joe Kick. Like he said, Josh Allen is Joe Kicks. We need to get quad triple, and carry this whole team. No, Joe Kick doesn't do that. Joe Kick plays within the framework of his team. He runs the team, makes them better, but he's not the whole team. Let's not do it. And Bodega, you're right. There's Murray. There's other. We're not going to go through all that, but trust me, the Nuggets are my favorite team. That's why Steve said that. But yeah, no, it's a different scenario. We don't have the other complementary pieces besides Murray either. But yeah, to get back to the kick, it was just epic bad. Like I wrote, and I said, so are we going to queue up? That's what I wrote there. I was like, we're going to queue up this back to Baz now, which I was saying because everybody want to trade him now, and I'm like.
You can't do nothing with that contract. We've already said it several times.
And nobody's trading for a kicker when you're replacing with a dude that was coaching flag football the week before.
Exactly.
We're gonna find one. He work at Piggly Wiggly. We're gonna find somebody that work at Dashes. We'll get somebody. We don't have to pay him no money.
You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Better Call Saul with that comb over that looks like it's literally saving his whole hairline.
He looks like he looks every bit of 41. Like you're giving 41-year-olds a bad look. It's terrible. But he might not need a drink though. He needs a topical.
A topical?
I think Reeves needs to come up with a topical.
I'm sure that can be worked out. I'm pretty sure that can be worked out in time though. But I mean, what's better than that right now?
Topicals. No. Ain't nothing better than a topical. Reese tea. The kind you can ingest. Just one part refreshing, one part delicious, 2 parts healthy. That's what you can expect when there's only 4 ingredients. I don't even drink tea, but let me tell you, that's a good drink there. What you doing? Head over to Reese. Get yourself a supply by the case or individual. Why would you do that? Get yourself a case. Spoil yourself. You won't be disappointed. But what do I know? See for yourself. Reese tea. Click the link in the description below. Let them know PPP sent you.
Yeah, definitely make sure y'all do that. You gotta let them know that we sent you there. That way they understand, the kind of work that we're doing here to promote them. So
yeah, no, Lynn, I don't think Adam Vinatieri is available. I think Blenda is though.
But what?
I don't think Vinatieri is available, but I think Blanda is though.
Oh no, I'm looking at this comment from where is it? Oh yeah, Bodega Cat said when Bass comes back, do we cut him? Yeah, that's pretty much going to be it, unless he wants to stay on the practice squad. Prater.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he might, and the Bills might do it just to keep him around in case.
I would freaking snap my own legs now if they put this man on the practice squad. He's 41, and we got him from Little League football. Find somebody else.
There is nobody else that fits this.
There's only one kicker. Only one kicker. You got to be an old fart to kick for the Bills.
You just got to be a non-name person.
What's Steve Christie doing?
Huh?
What's Steve Christie doing? I'm sure he can still do it.
He's probably coaching soccer somewhere. Who knows?
He's got the Kenny G. Escrow thing going on too.
Maybe.
Yeah.
All right, we got to get you out of here.
Yeah,
So let's hit this thing.
I don't want to go.
All right. Hopefully that's enough breath for the music there, and it's not warbling my voice. Look, I want to thank everybody for tuning in today, especially on a Friday night. But look, Key's got to jump out the window. I got to get going too. Here's what you need to do. If you want to support the channel and you want to do it in the most freest way possible, you can hit that subscribe button. While you're at it, you can hit the like button. That's also free, just to kind of give us an idea of how you feel about the content. And if you really, really want to get something out of that investment of time to just hit the button, you should hit that bell, make that thing so that you can get notifications when we send notifications. Just came out with a new live this past Wednesday of post-podium conversations. It's a new piece of content that we're doing here where we're going through press conferences and just kind of giving it's me, really. I'm giving my analysis of, what I think the interpretations are, just some of the, smaller things, finer details that I see going on in these press conferences. I'm actually very excited about Terrell Bernard's press conference from last night. I think that's the model for what we need to see in press conferences. So I'll be going through that probably tomorrow. I want to go through that press conference just to give you guys an idea of what I like to see in press conferences. I think that'll be very interesting. So make sure you check that out.
Spin you can. I just like you too. Oh, go ahead.
All right. With that being said, everything else you need to know about us is in the description of this video on YouTube. You simply go in there. Everything is a link. Everything that you need to get in contact with us, everything that you need to see more content, whatever, it's all clickable. So go to the description of this video, click it, and hopefully we'll see you around other than here in the chat. With that being said, this has been the Post Podium Podcast, only all truth, no sodium takes. I have been your co-host, Aramis.
40 keys.
Wait, do it again.
Oh, 40 keys. See y'all later.
All right, y'all have a great night. Peace.